China May oil imports from Russia bounce to a report. Surpass top dealer Saudi Singapore. China's crude oil imports from Russia soared 55% from a 12 months earlier to a report level in May, displacing Saudi Arabia because the top supplier, as refiners cashed in on discounted components amid sanctions on Moscow over its invasion of Ukraine. Imports of Russian oil, together with materials pumped via the East Siberia Pacific Ocean pipeline and seaborne shipments from Russia's European and Far Eastern ports, totaled almost 8.42 million tons, in step with records from the Chinese General Administration of Customs. That's equal to more or less 1.98 million barrels according to DAY, BPD, and up a quarter from 1.59 million BPD in April. The facts, which shows that Russia returned the top ranking of providers to the world's biggest crude oil importer after a gap of 19 months, indicates that Moscow is capable of locate buyers for its oil in spite of Western sanctions, though it has needed to reduce expenses. And while China's universal crude oil call for has been dampened by COVID-19 curbs and a slowing financial system, main importers, which includes refining massive Sinopec (NYSE), Xi, and dealer Zhenhua Oil, have stepped up buying cheaper Russian oil on pinnacle of sanctioned elements from Iran and Venezuela that lets in them to reduce competing components from West Africa and Brazil. Saudi Arabia trailed because the second large street dealer, with May volumes up 9% on year at 7.82 million tons, or 1.84 million barrels of oil per day. This was down from April's 2.17 million barrels of oil per day. Customs statistics released on Monday also showed China imported 260,000 tons of Iranian crude oil closing month, its one-third cargo of Iran oil considering that ultimate December, confirming an in-advance report. Despite U.S. sanctions on Iran, China has kept taking Iranian oil, usually took place as supplies from other countries. The import tiers are kind of equal to 7% of China's general crude oil imports. China's standard crude oil imports rose almost 12% in May from a low base a year in advance to 10.8 million barrels of oil per day, as opposed to the 2021 average of 10.3 million barrels of oil per day. Customs stated zero imports from Venezuela. State oil corporations have kept away from purchases for the reason that past due 2019 for fear of falling foul of secondary U.S. sanctions. Imports from Malaysia, regularly used as a transfer factor in the final years for oil originating from Iran and Venezuela, amounted to 2.2 million tons, constant as opposed to April, however more than double the year earlier degree. Imports from Brazil fell 19% from a 12 months in advance to 2.2 million tons, as supplies from the Latin American exporter confronted inexpensive opposition from Iranian and Russian barrels. Separately, facts also showed China's imports of Russian liquefied herbal gasoline (LNG) amounted to almost 400,000 tons ultimate month, 56% more than May of 2021. For the primary 5 months, imports of Russian LNG from typically Sakhalin-2 task within the Far East and Yamal LNG in Russian Arctic rose 22% on the year to 1.84 million tons, according to customs records. Below is the designated breakdown of oil imports, with volumes in million tons, month Y, YPCT YTD Y, RPCT change trades Saudi 7.82 8.7 38.224. 5 Russia 8.42 55 34.02 2.55 Iraq 4.687 4.5 23.54 4.1 Angola 3.148 3.614 84 8.7 Brazil 2.209 19 10.995 96 United 0.516 52 3.784 44 States Malaysia 2. 0.2112.8.4236, Iran 0.260.52, Venezuela 00, Oman 3.977, 18.960, 8, UAE 4.09, 68.7, 16.31, 30 ton equals 7.3 barrels for crude oil conversion.